One of the most important skills that we need to teach our dogs and our puppies is how to come when we call them, away from distractions, away from the street, away from something that's about to harm them. So teaching a reliable recall, a reliable come when called cue is one of the most important skills that we can work on with our dogs. When we start this behavior, we need to start out by teaching our dog what we want them to do before we start adding in the cue, just like with everything else that we've been teaching them. So we don't start teaching them using the word come. We start teaching them the actual behavior that we want them to do, and then we start adding in the word. So to do this, we're going to build on a skill that they've already been learning, that they learned last week or the week before, depending on how you are doing this course, and that's their hand targeting skill, teaching them to touch their nose to the palm of your hand in order to get a mark and a reward. So for this behavior, for the hand targeting, we're going to start out by warming this up. Grab a handful of cookies in my right hand, yes, and have him targeting my left hand, yes, yes, yes. Once it's warmed up, I'm going to start tossing my treats. Instead of delivering them right to his nose, I'm going to start tossing them farther away so that he can move away from me and has the opportunity to come back and get rewarded at a greater distance. So I'm going to start out by tossing the treat back that direction. I'm going to say his name, Roo, yes, and present my target hand so that he knows what to do following his name cue. I'm not saying his name more than once at this point. If he doesn't respond right away, I'm going to pause and let him give him a second to respond, saying his name once. Once I get him turning back to me, that's when I'm going to introduce the target at that point so that he has something that tells him what I want him to do next. So toss the treat out, goes and gets it, he eats the treat, Roo, yes, Roo, yes. The yes comes when his nose hits my hand. Yes! And then the treat toss is after that. Yes! Roo! Yes! Roo! Yes! Yes! Roo! Yes! Roo! Yes! Notice I'm doing this at a short distance at first. Roo! Yes! As he gets the hang of it, I toss the treat farther and farther away. We continue to expand the distance that our dogs are going to get the treat as we have a really strong behavior and expectation on the dog's part that they come back from that distance to target and get their reward. So, for example, we don't want to start out chucking the treat across the field when our dogs haven't learned how to come back to us from this distance. We start out at this distance and then gradually expand it as our dogs are ready for greater and greater challenges. At this point, the only two cues that you are using for your recall behavior are your name, your dog's name cue, that you give that as they're finishing eating their treat off the ground. You give their name cue. Then when they turn back to you, you give your hand cue as the indication that they should come and target your hand. You're not using a verbal come cue yet. We'll add that in next week. But at this point, we want to teach them a really strong behavior and expectation of what to do so that when we start pairing it with the come word, they know exactly what is expected of them. All right, good luck.